Okay, so as always, whenever this happens, okay, I think I'm doing good. I think we're good right now. I can never, let me turn my phone off here. My stream is on, but I see somebody saying hello to me, so I'm gonna just go ahead and assume that it's on, we're live, we're going okay, and that you guys can hear me as well. So hoya canoia. I tell you what, I'm always behind when it comes to looking at the live stream things still, because this one is in real time so I can see me, and then there's a lag by the time it gets to YouTube. And I know some people were talking about using another platform as a better one for the live streaming. So I know it looks a little distorted, so give me a second. I think hopefully after things settle in here, it won't be so crazy. I'm hoping. I'm hoping. Oh, thank you. Yes, I'm always playing with my hair. It seems like that's a thing. So it definitely still looks a little bit distorted to me too. So let's see what's going on with OBS. Let me double check this streaming quality here, because it looks a little bit weird to me also. So this looks good on this side. Okay. I don't know why the stream looks so weird on this side. I don't want you guys to experience buffering, so I'm not sure how to get that to go. Maybe my video quality is just really slow right now. Okay, good. I'm glad it's getting better. So I think what I'm going to do, guys, is hopefully it's getting good enough that the buffering is not so intense, I'm hoping, and you guys can see the video. Maybe it's better if I just leave OBS up. It seems like this works better when I do it this way. So hold on, guys. I'm sorry, I'm still trying to figure this out, so I'm going to squish myself here and see if this helps the video, because this seems to look like it's smoother on that side. Okay, cool. So if the sound is good, guys, we're gonna just go with the sound tonight. And yeah, I heard that other YouTubers were having the same problem actually in trying to do their live chats and stuff in their live feeds. So I'm gonna just keep rolling here and put some information out so that we can just continue to kind of roll on. So first things first, I know I put it up in the weekly videos that we've got going on. And if you were if you've liked the Facebook page, we have also got stuff going on over there. I actually just did a live, a Facebook Live over on the Stormy Grace Facebook page where I talked about the solar eclipse through the different 12 signs. So if you haven't had a chance to like the page, go over there and check it out. But one of the other things that's going on right now is there are, I think, exactly 3 30,000 subscriber gift appointments left. And I'll put that link in the box in just a minute here. And also, right now I have about 4 spots left open for the 1-hour natal chart analysis. And that is, normally that 1-hour appointment is anywhere from $150 to $230, depending on what it is we're doing in there. Right now it's out for $75. And the idea was, in doing the 30,000 subscriber appointments, so many people still had questions about their own charts. It was great to check in on the trends and the transits, but they had questions about their personal charts. So I wanted to make a time and a space where the people that wanted to could grab onto that. We can go in there, get down to the nitty-gritty of your personal chart and help you understand some of those placements without all the distractions of all the transits. We bring those in later. So if that's something you're wanting to take advantage of, I'm going to put that link down here as well. Hi Passion, hi Christine, hi Brandon, Ken, Nicole, someone very special. There's all kinds of people in here I just want to say hi to, but I'm going to put those links down here right away. So if you're wanting one of those, like I said, there's 3 or 4 subscriber gift appointments. Those ones are the ones for $10, and then the other ones are the ones for $75. But if you want them, grab them now, because I don't know that they will be there by tomorrow. Give me 2 seconds. I'm going to put those links up because I will walk out of this live feed and have forgotten to put those links. And I 100% know that I will absolutely do that. So give me 2 seconds and then we're going to jump in to the actual Mercury retrograde scopes. And I'm going to tell you what, like Mercury retrograde has got my number. I have had, we're experiencing some of what I've got going on right now. Like it is the technology. Oh my gosh, it's just like technology is against me. I've had Skype calls go crazy. Yeah, it's been a hoot. So either way, but the nice part about it is that I'm also a Virgo rising. So it's given me a lot of opportunity to look at how I'm presenting myself to you guys and to the world and what I think about some things and make some adjustments as well to myself and in my business, which I think end up being ultimately more beneficial to you guys as well because it gives us a better, clearer place to communicate, which is, I think, super, super lovely. And yes, I believe it, Jade. The Mercury retrograde got a hold of your washer and dryer or your washing machine. I absolutely believe it. Okay. Here you go, guys. So here's the links in the chat boxes to both of those appointments. They're almost gone. If you want them, grab them quickly. Now, let's jump in here with this crazy buffered feed that I've got going on apparently and talk about this Mercury retrograde. So, Mercury's doing its thing. He's retrograde from August 12th all the way until September 5th at 11 degrees of Virgo. He's going to step back for just a minute into 28 degrees of Leo, but then we'll pop back forward into some more Virgo action as we get ready to go through September. So now what this tells me and the general distinction I get off of this retrograde is in Virgo, it's meticulous. It's about work. It's about the details of work. And it's also about health. So one of the things that you may be encountering is that you just want to chill. You're like, ugh, I don't want to adult, or maybe you want to adult, but you don't want to do certain things, but you've got to. And this is the time where if you use the energy of a Mercury retrograde, you can really make these really careful revisions, edits, and things like that that end up being extraordinarily beneficial to you. You know what I mean? You come back to them later and you're like, oh, thank goodness I got this all zipped up and ready to go, because then you shine, right? Like you look like you had your tacos in a row and everybody's like, oh my gosh, you're so good. You know what I mean? You want that. You want to be ready to move forward when Mercury turns direct. Now, what does Mercury retrograde do? Well, one of the things that it is infamous at doing is bringing back old lovers. Right? It brings back these old lovers from the past in some way, shape, or form, whether it be that they actually come back into your life physically. You get a phone call, you even start having a dream about them, or you think about them, you get a Facebook message, they show up as a suggested friend. Something jogs this old kind of memory. Hello from Sudan. So this energy is infamous for bringing back old loves. Now that does not mean that it's always bringing you back an old love, especially not with a solar eclipse coming on and it's time for y'all to just launch forward. What could be happening is it brings you back an old romance or something like that, and you're supposed to look at that. What was that in your life? Where were you at? Where were you? What were you about at that time? And have you let go of the lessons associated with that so that you can go on ahead and move forward? Now, one of the other things I think it's beautiful for bringing back is old friends. Maybe an old colleague from school, maybe, you know what I mean? Something like that. People you worked with at one time. For some people, it will be an old job that shows back up where it's like, wow, I have an opportunity to maybe work here again or something like that. So consider that. I'm telling you, retrograde, especially Mercury, loves these old communications, but it's usually just about the evaluation. It is rarely, I think, about let's reconnect and do this forever. It's presenting you something. And I think so much with the eclipse getting ready to come on the 21st here, I think so much of what this Mercury retrograde will bring back to you are these old ideas and these old people that you had in your life because you planned for life to look like A, B, C, and D. And now it's like the universe is showing you, huh, What do you think about this person now? And maybe they're still sexy as hell, right? Like they could just be killing you. But you remember that they don't take out the trash, they don't do dishes, they're not kind to you, they don't get along with your family. Didn't they steal money? Okay, like it could be something like this, or you're just not the right fit. So whatever it is, I don't think that these stickings that are coming back are meant to stick around forever. So now let's jump in and talk about this with the individual signs and see. Yes, Brandon, these exes will be texting you. Let me tell you what, my boyfriend is an Aries, and somebody showed up, and I tell you what, I was like, I told you, because he was telling me, no, nobody's going to show up, and I'm like, you don't know. I do astrology, not you. And sure enough, somebody tried to skimp her little way back in here, and this Virgo rising wasn't having any of that noise. So it's been interesting so far. So let's, yes, leave the past in the past, but just reevaluate it. And I just want to say hi to, hi Sarah, hi, I think it's, what is it, medieval maybe? Something like that. Yes, if you were born in a retrograde times are like a return, so it usually feels really good. Highly, I'm not talking about any signs just yet, so I'm getting there. I'm going to jump in there in just a minute. Hi, Joanne. Hi, Brandon. Hi, Pink Shimmer. I like that. Britt, what's going on, girl? Pepsi Wolf, I like that. I don't think that Mercury retrograde has to be doom and gloom at all. I think Mercury retrograde, like everything else I teach in astrology, is about paying attention and starting to make some more mature decisions, seeing the past, right? Like what was it about, and now how can you make it useful? So let's jump in here. I actually do want to talk about some of these signs before I get all on a whole other tangent. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying. All right, so Aries. The first part of this Mercury retrograde is really about your daily routine. You know what I mean? This is 6th house stuff. What can you do to make yourself more efficient, more productive in your daily routine? Have you had people, places, or things come into your life where your daily routine has gotten a little different, and now you're having to figure out something new because you're getting ready to have this solar eclipse that's happening as well, and it encourages you to be bold and to be brave and to take risks, especially risks in love, right? So do you have some new person in your life and you're having to relook at your schedule or things like that? Or Aries, are you just not being efficient? What can you do to be more efficient? What can go? And what's beautiful about that is with Mercury retrograde, it's like you're walking. The energy is backwards. You're walking through your schedule and going, man, I sure am wasting time here. I sure am doing this and it's not actually beneficial to me. Now, after August 31st, when Mercury takes this back pedal into Leo, it's actually going to be in your love sector. This is the 5th house, the place where you start things. This is, I'm telling you, someone or something romantic from your past could pop up, or maybe you're rethinking a romance from your past. You're rethinking decisions that you've made in romance. You're rethinking decisions you've made around children, things like that. And it's all very contemplative. When I tell you you're rethinking it, Aries, I really mean that you're rethinking it. This stuff is coming to your attention. It doesn't necessarily mean you're doing anything with it, but one thing I think of, Aries, is because you've got this teeter-totter right here of 5-6 with this energy, 5th house, 6th house. Do you have some sexual health stuff that needs to be addressed? Did you have a past lover and now you got to check your health out? Did something like that happen? Is this mental health that you need to recheck out? Did they have you all the way effed up? You know what I mean? Something like that. So think about it in that regard as well. It could just really be presenting this string of old lovers and how that fits into your wellness today. So Aries, just kind of keep those things in mind and definitely re-look over that daily routine, and don't worry about finding and making big decisions really until after September 5th. Let Mercury come out of retrograde, be observant through the retrograde time, and then after that you can kind of see what you want to do with it, because you're also going to encounter some fear, Aries. Some of this is about doing things differently than you ever thought you were going to do it, and that challenges each and every single one of our signs right now. All right, Taurus. Okay, so something in your love zone, love life, or something like that may need an adjustment. right? Or your beliefs around it may need an adjustment, maybe even your head. You know what I mean? I'm going to tell you right now, if you're in a relationship, whether it be a business relationship, a romantic relationship, a relationship with yourself or something like that, and you're confused about what's happening, confusion tells me that something is trying to tell you to go the other way, right? Something is trying to help you. When I'm confused, it's because something is stepping in and going, hey, I'm trying to show you. I'm trying to show you, right? So pause. You too. Remember, August is an observant time. Watch what's going on. So more so too, I think, Taurus, not so much for people who necessarily have a current romance. You can be a little confused by your current romance, I think, because it's just a weird time. But with an ex, if you've got an ex who's popping back up, you may be over there going, what's the good and the bad of hanging out with this person? I will tell you, like I told Aries, if you cannot make any decisions about what to do with this person until we get to September, you're all the better. And let me tell you, if somebody shows up on their doorstep, they need an answer from you, whether you're going to be with them or not be with them together right now, today, it's not the right one. You get your time. Doodle. You get your time to figure things out. Anything else is pressure and fear. So keep that in mind. Now, after August 30th, Mercury is actually going to backpedal for you into the domestic sector, into that 4th house. So home, family, real estate, property. Maybe you're going back over something with your family. Maybe you're getting together with your family. Something like that. Yes, Elavita, let me tell you what, they are popping up like whack-a-moles. These exes are coming back, and it's time. It's time for all of us to see it and be like, now where was I at in my life when we last approached each other? Because 9 out of 10 times the answer is, thank you, it was good, but I need to let it go, especially if you're a Taurus, because Taurus, we're keepers, right? Like, we'll hold on to something really tight and not let it go. So it's about letting this junk go. But yes, these exes are popping up like Tic Tacs. I don't know if Tic Tacs pop up, actually, but they're very good. So either way, let's move on to Gemini. Gemini, now your ruling planet is what we call out of phase. So it means it's not doing what it normally does. Even though retrograde is normal for Mercury, this is what we call out of phase. So for you, or if you have a strong Gemini placement or Mercury placement, you may feel out of sorts. You may feel, let me tell you what, I have my Mercury in Gemini, and it's in my 10th house. So in my career here lately, guys, I've been like, what the heck is happening? How do I communicate? What do I think about that? So if you're feeling this out of sorts energy, remember this is a ruling planet time, right? But for you, Gemini, even though this is your ruling planet, it's not retrograde in your sign. It's actually in your 4th house, home, family, property sector. So also rethinking some old ideas that you had, maybe even some old ideas or current ideas that you've had maybe about things going on in the world and how do you communicate. Yes, you can totally listen to these for your sun, moon, rising, and any other placements. So how do you communicate yourself? What do you think about some things? As well, I would think of too, what things kind of need to, for you, Gemini, get out of your space? What needs to leave your home? You know what I mean? Like maybe you've had a move recently, and is your furniture set up correctly? Maybe it's time to get ready for a move. You're re-looking at your home situation. You could be moving things around inside of your home. Now, what I will tell you is if there is a move coming up, it's best to try not to sign any of these contracts until after the retrograde is over. Try not to enter in any really big negotiations before Mercury retrograde is over, especially connected to family or real estate. But if you can't help it, you can't help it, and it will be different in your own personal chart. But in the general, it's a good idea not to. Now, good news that I see around this as well, I think Mercury's all good, Mercury retrograde is all good, but some other good news I see is that it looks like you have the opportunity to connect with maybe a family member, or, and this could even be, I think, even in spirit realm, you know what I mean? Maybe you have a visitor come to you in your sleep or something like that, or they drop a message, or you see butterflies or something like that, and you're reconnecting to this lost piece of your family, your history, or something like that. And it's really just so lovely and so wonderful, because I think it helps to feel like it's guiding you on the right track. Like it's almost like you needed the communication right there to help you see which way to go. Really beautiful. So I love that on there. Let's see. I want to make sure that I'm saying hi to everybody. Hi Kelly, hi Chelsea, hi Jade. Okay, I think I got everybody right there. Let's move to Cancer. Cancer, now retrograde cycles tend to be a little bit interesting for you. And I think really in this one, it's a time for you to for sure avoid signing contracts if you can, or making those really big mental decisions and things like that, because this is going to be happening through your third house, right? So it's like communications that are happening are not exactly what they seem. You've got these exes who could be reaching back out to you, especially via technology. They could just be popping up. And people are not always what they seem right now. And they're not necessarily, everybody's not conveying everything that they need to properly. And so it's like these important details, the important things are missed in conversation. And I think that in your case, this will be really, really true, because it's coming through a communication house for you. You know what I mean? So if you can wait to make these big decisions, and in the meantime, practice some patience, Cancer, because you're going to have to slow down. You're going to have to slow down because you're trying to say something cool, and it's not coming out right. You could be trying to say something cute and funny, and people are like, that's not funny. And you're like, no, that's not what I meant. You know what I mean? It could be something that is really, that is so funny, Pepsi Wolf. Yes, that somebody else told me I was like Kelly from The Office. So yes, I get that plenty. Super funny. But so Cancer, keep that in mind, that you too have to slow down in what you're communicating. Now, after August 30th, there's going to be an emphasis at looking at your money and your budget and your finances as well. And I do think you have to be cautious. I think you have to take heed a little bit about what's going on in your budget, but more so than that too, I feel like it's also a really nice time for you to clean out your material possessions and relook at your value, right? Look at your personal value, Cancer. What are you about? You're getting ready to have an eclipse that's going to ask you to express very, very boldly some things that you believe in, but you haven't quite brought all of those things out of the shadow sector yet. So, you know, look at that. Look at your material things after the 30th, and definitely go back over your budget. Leo! During retrograde, it's possible that you have to look back over your money. You have to go back over your finances, because maybe you've been spending a little bit extra. You know what I mean? You've liked it, or maybe you are even just, you're starting a new project, and so you've indulged financially in something a little bit. But whatever it is, in the financial problem or the financial snafu that may come up, or the financial reevaluation, I think I want to say, it's time for you to look at how you can either bring more money in or overhaul your budget. Even if you have the exact money you need for all your bills, the world is right. I think there's this craving to have an extra or additional passive, additional income come into your life. And it speaks to your value very much so, because I do believe, Leo, there's something else you've been wanting to do or put out in the world or experience, and you haven't quite done it yet. And this will be in tandem with experiencing that for you. Now, for some of you, because it is a retrograde too, it could be like you decide to go back to an old job, right? Like maybe you retired, or maybe you quit, or maybe you stopped being a volunteer someplace, and you're like, I'm gonna go back to that. That really made me feel fulfilled. Yeah, I should bring that back in. You know what I mean? It could be something like that as well. So consider that could be something that is coming to the forefront for you, and you'll have the opportunity though to maybe have that job, that organization, that whatever come back into your world. Now, after August 30th, when Mercury is retrograde in your sign until September, it's actually helpful because you will be looking back at how you communicate and how you present yourself. Because there could be something stopping you from moving forward, or maybe you're just in your presentation, you seem for some reason timid, or in your presentation you seem too arrogant, and you need to look at that. And it changes the way that things communicate and the way that you communicate from September 5th going forward, and gives you a little bit more warmth, and also gives a little bit more confidence and courage to be there communicating and getting people, places, and things on your side. Now, I saw that there was a question here. Hold on. What happens when Mercury is currently in the same sign that it's in for your birth chart? Hold on, guys. Okay, so what happens when Mercury's in the same sign in your birth chart that it is now that it was in your birth chart? That's what we would be calling a Mercury return, depending on the degree. So you would be looking at things like your thinking being different, your communication being different, and things like that. So it would just be a return of this planet in your chart, giving you the opportunity to grow into an advance here. So I would tell you, just for the sake of staying on track here, as best as I stay on track, look up the Mercury return, because that's exactly what that would be about. Okay, Virgo. Mercury is your ruling planet. This retrograde is happening predominantly in your sign. So this is like, yeah. You know what I mean? Like, it's like a double karate chop, double throat chop happening, right? So one thing that may be happening for you is that you may be trying to communicate and it is just not working out. You're trying to communicate, you're trying to be understood, you're trying to just be efficient and get business done, and you're coming across not well, or you might second guess how you're coming across to people, and you're stutter stepping, which is really not like you. You know what I mean? It's like nobody understands Virgo, right? It's like all of a sudden I am like the most misunderstood planet, or the most misunderstood sign out there. And it's really interesting, I think, when it's in your sign, because it's always this re-evaluation of you. Do you know what I'm saying? So keep that in mind as we're trucking and grooving along here, is that this is actually in your sign. So if you feel like nobody gets you, you're not able to come across right, any of those things, take a step back. You're in a process, an active process of reassessment. You're walking through it, Virgo, and at no point do you need to be soaring or sprinting through this. You can use this time to revise your communication, revise your contracts, revise the way you present yourself out into the world so that people can understand you. Revise as a professional, I would tell you, Virgo. Revise how you're showing up in that area of your life, and you're going to be so happy you did come September 5th, because people take note when we start to show up differently. Right? But man, I tell you what, and as a Virgo rising, trying to do videos, trying to have conversations, because that rising sign is the first thing people see from you. I feel like I've been like blah, 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 right? Just everything that has slowed down my communication has been wild since this retrograde hit off. So if you are a Virgo sun, or maybe a Virgo moon, and you're really experiencing that, I would attribute it very much so to that. All right, Libra. Now, this retrograde is going to mainly go through your 12th house of contemplation, fears, closure, secrets, things like that. So it gives you the opportunity to actually bring something back up from the past and start to get some closure on it, which I think is great. If there's been a disagreement or an argument or something that needs to be reconciled to bring closure, this situation you could see improvement with this Mercury retrograde, which wouldn't that be great to not have the weight of the world on your shoulders, be able to put one thing down and say, okay, that's resolved? Yeah, I think it would be. It's also a really good time if you want to spend some time in solitude. That's great, because it's a very behind the scenes kind of energy. But if you've been working on a communication project, if you've been studying something, especially students and researchers, this is a wonderful research energy, because it's almost as if something pops up in the research that you didn't see before, and you're like, oh my gosh, this is key. I needed this. Do you know what I mean? So it's really nice to work on projects without having to talk to a lot of people about it. You can just kind of bear down and do the work. Now, for some of you as well, if there's been an affair, if there's been whatever, those secrets will start to rise to the surface as well, and they may need to be addressed, or somebody may just be like, they may be triggered by something that happened in the past. Now, typically, Pepsi Wolf, retrogrades do not trigger paranoia because of the confusion. They can, but I would attribute most of the paranoia and the real in-depth, like fear and kind of crazy head talk lately, to the fact that we've got Uranus retrograde as well. We have got Neptune retrograde right now. So it's like, what's real? we don't really know. And that Uranus retrograde has got bad behaviors and crazy thoughts coming out of the woodwork. I'm telling you what, yesterday, like, everybody was leaving my channel. It was all broken. Josh and I were breaking up, and I'm like, what happened? All I did was just wake up today, you know? And it was the crazy head game and having to reground to go, now wait a minute. What is this actually showing me? And now we're in retrograde, so what's it showing me about me? What's it showing me about how I present myself, what I think about myself, those kinds of things. So I think if you always take the retrograde instead of, hi, Aaron, you always take the retrograde, and instead of running towards paranoia and pandemonium, you can use that as something useful. But in mass crowds, we've been watching that around the world, right? The communication, the destruction has been massive. And it's almost as if it's happening in a blank out. And if everybody's focus mentally and the thought process is backwards and we're all walking forwards, we're going to collide into each other. And some of that looks really, really dangerous right now. As well, Uranus retrograde is infamous for violence. Infamous. And Pluto is also retrograde as well. So yeah, Pluto retrograde bringing up some trauma too. Let me get back on track, you guys, because I will talk about anything. That's how I have a Gemini, Mercury and Gemini. I'll talk about anything. Let's keep going. So Scorpio. Okay, Scorpio, if you've been working on a branding or a social media campaign, maybe a website, maybe even a community project or something like that, or something related to technology, prepare to be really patient. Mercury retrograde with technology is intense. It's just like the slowdown, the delays, the mishaps. Oh my gosh, this live feed tonight I think is absolutely indicative of what this can be like. Networking events even. You could be networking with people and maybe an old friend comes in, or an old friend introduces you to something or someone and you go network or something like that. But there could be a lot of miscommunication between you, your friends, even friends on social media. And we know that's huge right now. Somebody posts something that actually goes against what you believe, and then it's kind of like, should we be friends? All of this kind of stuff. But I will tell you, Scorpio, that the key watchword for you right now is patience. It's patience, 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 okay? Now, the other thing I would tell you, to the best of your ability, if you can avoid it, don't turn communication into the fight of the century. You don't have to fight over everything. Everybody's kind of flipped backwards. So everybody's got a hash for miscommunication right now. And that's just what's happening, okay? So just take a deep breath, chill, relax, it'll pass. Now, the other part of it is after August 30th, Mercury's going to retrograde through your career sector. And so you might be reevaluating your career. You might be realigning yourself with the direction that you want to go, which is totally in line with the solar eclipse coming up as well, right? It's asking you to correct directions. What's your new life direction and things like that. So you may be reviewing something at work, in career, something about your reputation, things like that could definitely be on the agenda for you. Sagittarius, I think this is the time with Mercury retrograde because it's in your 10th house. What are your professional goals and what are you doing to meet them and to get there? What kind of training do you maybe need to take yourself to the next level, right? What's happening and what even, Scorpio, do you want from your career? Who do you want to be when you grow up? Because it's time to start being that person, and you may need to go on ahead and look at the plan, because it's like you need a wiser plan in your back pocket right now. Or maybe what you just need to do is to revise a plan or polish it up, or maybe there's a presentation, maybe you want angel investors or something like that, or you've been wanting to ask for a raise and you just got to polish up your reasons for asking for it. It's not going to be a good time to do that right now, but now is the time to get those ducks in a row for your future projects, right? For that future raise, for that future whatever. But it is, if you have a project going on or something that you're working on right now, I want to say this, it's okay to make changes to an ongoing project that's already started, okay? Or if you've been doing something in your career and it's already started, it's okay to make those adjustments to it. But now after August 30th, you might consider going back for that training. Maybe it's time to go back to school. Maybe it's time for you to teach, but you may be adding some certification, licensing, whatever, advanced continued education or something like that to your bag of mixed nuts, and it helps you professionally going forward after September 5th, which is absolutely beautiful, because it doesn't matter how amazing, it doesn't matter how amazing you are at your job. There's something you can do better. And yeah, little ODD or a little odd, however you were saying that, if you are a stay-at-home mom or a stay-at-home parent, there's a way for you to be better at that. Right? Like there is always, no matter what the career path is, there is always a chance for you to improve. Absolutely, because there is, every single one of these things require giving of ourselves, so there's always a way to do it and to do it better. So don't put down the stay-at-home person, because there's a lot that they can learn. There's a lot they can do. There's a lot of training. Stay-at-home people have a lot going on that they have to offer, that's for sure. And they definitely could use more education around it as well. All right, Capricorn. Capricorn, I'm thinking things international. I'm thinking traveling. I'm thinking publishing, broadcasting, advertising, getting yourself out into the world in some way, shape, or form, and you may be frustrated about it. Maybe you're trying to publish that book. Maybe you're trying to publish a blog. Maybe you're trying to do a YouTube channel. Maybe you are trying to get an advertising thing out there, or you're even trying to figure out what you want to do in the world. Of course, travel plans to anything international are going to have hiccups with it right now because Mercury retrograde is going to be connected to all of those things. It's about travel, but it's also going to be in this place where it's in the 9th house, and it's like, nope, delays, misunderstandings, setbacks, revisions, those are all things that will be a part of it. But fortunately, why that's good is you have the opportunity to fix any little errors or mistakes that are in there that would threaten the actual success of whatever you're taking on, right? Like sometimes the answer is no, but it's not always no. Sometimes the answer, especially during Mercury retrograde, is not no, it's just not now. And you need to wait a minute so that you can actually be putting the best product out there that you have, which includes yourself. Maybe you think you're ready to be out there in the world and teach and do all this stuff. Well, have you practiced teaching? Have you practiced public speaking at home on your own 1,000 times before you're trying to do it in front of a stage full of people, right? You have to look at those things. Now, after August 30th, you are going to look back at finances, especially things connected to a joint resource, whether that be a spouse, a partner, a financial institution. I also think that if you were trying to get a sponsorship, a loan, do something with taxes, you'll have some energy and information going into that as well. You maybe get some news on it. Now, the other thing in the 8th house is things metaphysical. Is it time for you to start being the astrologer, tarot reader, healer that you were meant to be? I think so. Maybe it's time for that. Also, a really great time to relook at sexual health, what's happening with your reproductive system in your body, whether you're male or female. Intimacy. Are you able to connect? Are you connecting with other people, right? Intimacy is not just sex. Thanks, Erin. Hi, Bianca. It's not just sex, but it's the intimacy of you. Can you feel your feet grounded into the earth when you're walking? Can you feel the confidence radiating from the earth all the way up and through your body, out your chest with your head held high? Where's your intimacy? Can you be honest with the people who are next to you? Or are you people pleasing or showing up in a way where you're trying to get people to believe that you're something that you're not, right? Like, consider those things. Intimacy, joint connections are absolutely huge and critical as we're going through this Mercury retrograde. Definitely check out the sex thing too, because if you're not having sex, it's time to dust it off. You know what I mean? Do it yourself, but you know, get going. You know what I'm saying? Okay, Aquarius. This could be a frustrating time for you, I think, financially. I think in tandem and in connection with some other resource or a shared resource or a loan, a grant, maybe you're even sharing a house or something with somebody else, but you might discover that there's a problem with something financial. Or maybe your taxes from last year, you discover that there was a blip. But the nice part is that you may discover it, you may discover it, or it may be presented to you, and you have the opportunity to correct it before there's some huge fine or something associated to it. Insurance claims. You could have, because Mercury retrograde is also really infamous for accidents, you could have insurance claims going on. So you need to be mindful of that as well, that even though Mercury is retrograding for you through this 8th house, Mercury is over transportation as well. So watch those vehicles. Watch your spouse's vehicles, you know, your friends or someone you have a tight connection with could be in an accident or something like that. Now, after August 30th for you, I think you have another kind of misunderstanding about where things should go, how things should be done, how much money should go here, how much time should go here. And you're trying to compromise, you're trying to set this right, you're trying to create balance. And what I would tell you too is that while you're in this retrograde, the first part before August 30th, look at your intimacy as well. What do you need? Are you showing up as a giver, or are you showing up as a taker? There's something to be considered in both sides of those as well, okay? All right, Pisces, I'm coming. I'm going to get to you. So Pisces, here's the deal. You and your partner might not be getting along, right? Like you're getting on each other's nerves or something like that. And when I say partner, one of the things that I think of as well is you with you. You might be on your own nerves. You're like, I'm just so over me right now, right? So Mercury is actually retrograding through your relationship sector. So one of the things that can bring for you as well is a fair amount of frustration around decisions that need to be made. Or if you do have a partner, even if it's a business partner or a romantic partner or a roommate, you might have to make some decisions and you're trying to have these conversations, but it's like the communication is not hitting. You know what I mean? And what I would tell you is ease up. Don't take it so personally. It's just a weird time, right? If this is about business or a business relationship, keep that in mind as well. Not everything is people being shady. You have to really kind of see the grace and the good in people right now, Pisces. It's really important, so that you can give them some grace and so that you can remember that, okay, we're just all kind of communicating like weirdos right now, and it'll get back to basics here in just a minute. Now, after August 30th for you, if you have had trouble in this area and you're able to bring some grace to the table, what it looks like, especially at the work sector for you, because Mercury's going to take that step back, you can work well with others in some kind of collaboration on revising an assignment. I really think too, revising some relationships at the office, especially if you've done anything that has to do with gossip or somebody's been gossiping about you or something like that. You have the opportunity to set those things kind of straight. So watch those relationships during this Mercury retrograde, and the first and most important relationship I always teach people about is you with that divine energy and you with you. Those are the primary relationships, because if it's not right here, it's not going to be right out here. So that's what's going on for all of you. Now, I did see someone ask me to touch again a little bit on Libra, and yeah, I have absolutely no problem with that. So Libra, for you, this Mercury retrograde is happening through your 12th house. Fear, closure, contemplation, spiritual practices, secrets, behind the scenes work. So this is where you have that opportunity to work on these things that are behind the scenes. Maybe you're researching, maybe it's an old conversation, an old disagreement, an old hurt, an old plan. Something needs to be reconciled so closure can be brought to the table. Things from the past come up and get to see improvement during this Mercury retrograde. And then after the 30th, you get the energy of Mercury moving now into Leo, but still being retrograde, and this could bring back old friends, old networking groups, maybe an old idea that you had about technology or technology-related project. Maybe you had an app that you wanted to develop and now it's ready to go, something like that. So those are the two areas between the 12th and the 11th house that you're going to work on until September 5th, Libra. Oh my goodness. So you've got a childhood sweetheart and y'all been connecting and kind of bringing it back. Oh my goodness. You're going to have to keep me posted, you guys, on all of this stuff that just is coming up for you. You got to keep me posted on these exes. I'm telling you, you know what? I'm a 9th house Taurus, and it's just not very often that I get my little face twisted about anything. And I tell you what, my guy's little ex-girl tried to roll in here, and I was like, I gave her my Virgo rising eyebrow and ended that. So you guys have to keep me posted on how this is playing out for you as well. I see that the stream is still so choppy, and I apologize. I don't really know why. I'm going to continue to work on these live streams, you guys, so they get better and better and better, and maybe we can do more of them, because I really enjoy connecting with you here. Don't forget those 30,000 subscriber appointments. The last 3, it looks like, are left. And there's just a few more of the natal chart appointments as well. So if you didn't get the link, when this is over, I will post it under the video as well. And you can also come to stormygrace.com and you can click either the 30,000 subscriber appointment or click that the natal chart analysis sale button. I would love to sit down, connect with you, go through each of your charts so that you're not just getting the general information, so that we can actually look at what's happening in your natal chart and the way these things are expressing themselves. I think it's really critical. It was so important for me to go back in and look at where my Uranus is at right now and how it's being affected and what my natural Uranus in my chart is like, so I could see how I may be expressing myself and maybe some things that I'm working through right now. It's been a really incredible journey. I mean, I'm human just like you guys. I practice astrology, but I am practicing being a good human as well. And so it's sometimes a trip to just pull out my chart and look and go, this is really expressing itself right now. You know what I mean? So I love you guys a ton. I am getting ready to end this in some way, shape, or form. I don't even know how to do that, but I'm going to be ending this this live stream. I'm going to post this video up to YouTube. You can watch back over it. Click the links in the description box down below. Make sure you head over to Facebook. Check out the Facebook Live after you like the Stormy Grace Facebook page. And I do Facebook Live pop-ups over there often, so make sure you're tapped in with me over there as well. I love you guys tons and tons, and I will see you soon. Bye!